the Snarky Apologist. Why am I in a bank? I've got some information for you. I don't know, but I'm telling you, is the Watchtower Society really stupid? Or are they really that bold and brash to figure that their people aren't going to find out? You know, I mean, they're doing some things that are, I don't know, very worldly, but yet they're cracking down on the rank and file and telling them what they can do and what they can't do. And the whole time, you wouldn't believe what they're getting messed up into. On this one, I've got proof that the Watchtower Society is getting involved in hedge funds. Now, if you don't know what hedge funds are, you're better off for it. For those of you that are interested in what the Watchtower Society is doing, stay tuned. You're going to find this of interest. I bet you all this is theirs too, you know? Wow.
All right, the word on the street is that as of April of 2011, this year, the Watchtower Society headquarters has issued a new program. They've rearranged how the funds are handled at the local Kingdom Hall level. Now, when they don't take a collection as such, but in the back of each Kingdom Hall, there's a box, and people can put in their offerings and their donations and what have you, and then somebody is in charge of taking those funds and putting them into the local bank. That's going to change, or has changed, supposedly, as of April of this year. Now, the new program states that the Kingdom Halls are only allowed to maintain in that bank account what it will cost them for 3 months of operating expenses. So they need to figure out, each Kingdom Hall figures out what is their 3-month cost of, their operating expenses for 3 months, maintain that amount in the bank. The remainder of the funds, guess where those are going? Yeah, you got it. It's going to the headquarters. Now think of it. Now here's the other thing too. If the Kingdom Hall, the local Kingdom Hall, let's say that they had a flood and they needed $2,000 immediately, they can call the headquarters, and headquarters releases those funds relatively soon if they deem it necessary and get that money off to them. So it's not like they won't have those funds. The local Kingdom Halls will have those funds available. You just have to inquire for them, okay? Now, when you think about it, how many Kingdom Halls are there around the world? Many. So what's going to end up happening is the Watchtower Society very creatively may have found a way to create a huge cash infusion. They're going to get a lot of money from all the local Kingdom Halls on an ongoing basis, not to mention the first, delivery of all these funds, but it's going to be ongoing too. Now, the question comes up, why? It all begins at the Hedge Fund Intelligence website. Now, I'm going to have provided for you links to these particular websites so you can read it and judge for yourself. I'm not making any accusations, but the Hedge Fund Intelligence website states what they're about and about the conferences, the hedge fund conferences that they hold. Now, once again, I'm going to have links here, but I just want to highlight a few things. On the website, it states, held in London every autumn, the Invest Hedge Forum 2011 is a unique 2-day conference and networking event which attracts both hedge fund managers and investors from around the globe. The event, which is held in association with EuroHedge, focuses on how investors are driving the hedge fund industry and the wider asset management world. By tackling a wide spread of investor-related topics, this event meets the industry's demand for information on how different types of investors are investing in and buying hedge funds. So unless you're a bank or a hedge fund or a hedge fund manager, you have no interest being here. However, here is a partial of the list of names of the banks and hedge funds that are attending. These people are those that have an interest in some degree in doing something with hedge funds. Now, if you're a Jehovah's Witness, I know you're kind of focusing on that left column. I'd ask you to focus on the right. More so, kind of look in the W areas and see if you see any names that are familiar here. Because I know you're going to say, Snarky, you're making this stuff up. You always do. We don't trust you. But I've provided nothing but factual evidence, and you could do what you want with it. But maybe this will help. All right, so now, if you weren't able to see it then, maybe you could see it now, and you can go and verify this for yourself. Why is the Watchtower thinking about taking the monies that they have set aside for kingdom work and potentially throwing it into what's considered to be the largest casino crapshoot of all time, a hedge fund, because they want to get faster growth on their monies, and are using the worldly methods to do it. Most hedge funds, thousands upon thousands upon thousands of hedge funds, are registered in the Cayman Islands, the Virgin Islands, places out there where the national governments can't touch them. Why? Because it's widely known that the banks and hedge funds in these areas where governments cannot get their hands on them are used primarily for laundering money. Money that has been brought in and dirtied by the sale of arms, as well as the heroin market, drug lords, cartels. All these dollars are laundered at the banks and hedge funds in these areas, in these registered areas. They can't register them in the United States and carry that out because they're monitored, okay? And just for the sake of your information, approximately $1 trillion a year comes through the laundering of the hedge funds in these areas in the Cayman Islands and Virgin Islands. The offshore areas where it's not coming, the national governments aren't monitoring and watching. $1 trillion a year of filthy, dirty money. Once again, I don't know what the Watchtower's got going on here. I've got my speculations, but you come to your own conclusions. But I'll tell you this, if the Watchtower is putting their money into some big offshore hedge fund, I don't think they'd want you to know about it because they'd be sharing a common fund pool with drug lords and arms dealers. So much for not being part of the world. Talk about your hypocrisy. Woo.